Welcome back to the ACB Wrestling Talk channel, your main source for wrestling news and wrestling discussions. I am Alexis Carrillo, and let's get into some wrestling talk. There are quite a few things to talk about with Impact Wrestling having yet another episode on Access TV last night. And I've got to say, it left me kind of unsettled. Simply because, yes, we had Sami Callihan open the show. We had Sami Callihan as a brand new Impact World Champion with O.V.E. And it was all going well. I mean, Callihan simply does look like the top guy with that title on his shoulder. And he sounds like the top guy. He feels like the top guy. That is ultimately what Impact Wrestling wants and needs from their top star. My main issue was the fact that they had I believe an 8-person tag team match where O.V.E, brand new world champion Sami Callihan, teaming up with the Chris Brothers and Madman Fulton, facing off against the team of Tessa Blanchard, Rich Swann, Daga, and Tommy Dreamer. Now, the match was okay, nothing much to it. It's just that the finish of the match was just not good. It left me quite pissed off, to say the least, because I get that you want to possibly build up this force to fight against O.V.E. You want to build up these baby faces to fight up against this heel stable, this heel team. But did you really have to pin the Impact World Champion in his first match after he became world champion? Nevertheless, the fact that O.V.E can't really win matches. They're supposed to be this unstoppable heel tag team. They're supposed to be feared all over Impact Wrestling, feared all over professional wrestling in their own words. And yet, when they get in that ring, they can't back it up. They always lose. But that to the side, why the hell would Sami Callihan be pinned? Okay, number one, he can't be pinned by Tommy Dreamer. Come on, Tommy Dreamer. He's a ECW legend, an Extreme legend. Come on. But that's about it. He's filler, he's a jobber. That's what he's supposed to do in Impact Wrestling and in today's wrestling world. Then you got someone like Daga. Haven't seen enough of Daga. He's a Mexican luchador, big fan of those. You know, that kind of luchador in the ring really brings up the pace in any match, but he hasn't really done anything in Impact Wrestling. The man that pinned Callihan, Rich Swann, they had a very exciting feud at the beginning of the year when Swann was X Division champion, but now Swann is not X Division champion. He lost to one of the Chris Brothers. He lost the title to one of the Chris Brothers, and now he's in a tag team with Willie Mack. And yet he's the one who pins Callihan. And the person that, should have, out of the four, should have pinned Callihan should have been Tessa Blanchard, because of their rivalry during the summer. That didn't happen. But again, not freaking happy with how they're treating their world champion from the start. Come on. And then you got an O.V.E. Anyone could have been pinned. Hell, pin Madman Fulton over world champion Callihan. Pin one of the Chris Brothers. That's what they're there for. But anyway, let's see how Impact recovers. Let's see how Callihan recovers, especially, and I'm just realizing this right now, this Saturday night, Callihan has to defend his world championship against Brian Cage. Will he lose the title, the Cage? I don't know. I certainly don't know. I don't know if he can even beat Cage now. Sorry. But again, these are just thoughts on what happened on last night's Impact Wrestling. Not happy with how they treated a brand new world champion. A little bit more on the fun side. The most dangerous man alive, Ken Shamrock, defeated Joey Ryan, but not without getting a taste of Joey Ryan's manhood. Other than that, not much to say. Not much to say. Again, Ken Shamrock, in my view, is kind of in the same league as Tommy Dreamer. He's filler. He's jobber. He's here to put over the younger guys. That did not happen last night because Joey Ryan tapped. So, again, don't know where they're going with this. Hopefully they have a plan going into the new year. Very, and just keeping up with the trend of a very questionable night for Impact Wrestling, a very questionable night for decisions from Impact Wrestling. You have someone like Jordynne Grace, who I'm a big fan of, ever since she made her debut. And she's kind of poised to challenge Taya Valkyrie for the Impact Knockouts Championship. Now, if I'm not mistaken, this would not be Taya Valkyrie's first, Jordynne Grace's first Knockouts title challenge or Knockouts title match. She has challenged, I think she's even challenged Taya Valkyrie in the past, and she lost. So the real question is, what's changed? What's different in Jordynne Grace? What's different in Taya Valkyrie that would make us, the fans, care about this new rivalry, about this new feud for the Knockouts title? Because right now what I'm noticing is maybe this is just, Taya Valkyrie is officially, I think she's officially the longest reigning Knockouts champion in history. Bravo, that's it. So now she can lose the title? Now she can lose the title to Jordynne Grace? That's what I'm assuming is about to happen. So again, at least to me, it was a night of very questionable decisions from Impact Wrestling. Hopefully they bounce back next week. They try to develop storylines and explain it a whole lot better. Again, this is just one guy's opinion. What do you think? What did you think about last night's episode of Impact Wrestling? And one last thing coming out of last night's broadcast was the fact that they finally announced a date and a location for their Hard to Kill pay-per-view event. And it is going to take place January 12th, 2020 in Dallas, Texas. Hard to Kill. Love Dallas, Texas. Warming up to the pay-per-view name. Let's see what kind of card they start building up towards this event. So that's what happened for Impact Wrestling last night. What did you think? Leave your thoughts and comments in the comment section below. One thing that wasn't questionable, one thing that wasn't unexpected, that's what happens when you don't have a sound studio. One thing that wasn't as unexpected was the announcing of Randy Orton signing a brand new multi-year contract with the WWE. So it's safe to say that we're going to be seeing a whole lot of RKOs out of nowhere for years and years to come. Randy Orton came out and posted on his Twitter account that for at least 5 years, I believe it's much, much more. It was reported back in 2009 that he had signed a 10-year contract, 2009, 2010. He had signed a 10-year contract, so Randy Orton keeping up his legacy with WWE. And this is a pretty predictable, this is a smart decision by WWE. The last thing you want is to not re-sign Randy Orton and have him head over to AEW and make a splash over on Dynamite over there every Wednesday night. Now, of course, Chris Jericho has come out and say that he never expected Orton to sign with AEW because AEW, frankly, can't offer him the amount of money WWE can right now. So, with that said, Randy Orton will stick with WWE until at least 2025. And let's get into this final topic regarding WWE and the fans and one of my favorite characters so far, the Fiend, Bray Wyatt. Because this is a very curious case regarding the Fiend, Bray Wyatt. Because if you recall back, 2, 3, 4 months ago, maybe even longer, I don't know the exact, timeline, but back when Bray Wyatt was presented to us yet again in a repackaged manner and called himself the Fiend and had these Blue's Clues like sketches called the Firefly Funhouse. it's safe to say WWE fans were not taking it. They weren't. And that's just what happens. You know, you present something to the fans, they don't like it. They don't like the first impression of it. And, you know, they go on social media and they talk about how insulted they are, how much they've insulted and disrespected the Eater of Worlds, Bray Wyatt. What have they done to his character? Not me. Not me. I knew there was more to this character than just Blues Clues ripoff Bray Wyatt. I knew there had to be more to the Fiend. And certainly there was. Because then he was presented to us as this dual personality, multifaceted kind of character that I just love, that I want more of in professional wrestling. You know, in entertainment, I am freaking drawn to characters that are, you know, safe to say not okay up here. Which is why I went to go watch the Joker movie a couple of times. Because, again, in entertainment, when it's in a story, in a fictional story, in the same way as Joker, in the same way as WWE programming, it's fun, it's entertaining, it's entertainment. There's no harm, no foul, nothing. So obviously I was drawn to the character and I kept enjoying his performances as the Fiend. How he went from being this friendly, kind of creepy Mr. Rogers kind of character to this, and then reverted back to the Fiend and what he used to be, to the similar to like the Eater of Worlds and his whole "let me in" catchphrase. Loved it. And now he's a WWE Universal Champion. Now he's a top guy on SmackDown on Fox. Now, the Fiend has to prove a point. The Fiend has to prove that he can draw ratings and viewers to SmackDown. The Fiend has to prove that he can be the top guy on SmackDown. And I'm going to call it right now. If WWE presents us with the main event, with a SmackDown main event at WrestleMania that isn't the Fiend, Bray Wyatt, versus the big dog, Roman Reigns, for the Universal Championship at WrestleMania, I've got to wonder, what's the point? Because now on SmackDown, you've got the biggest heel, who's very popular, who's very much cheered by the audience, in Bray Wyatt, in The Fiend. He's a champ. He's a top guy. He's a heel, technically. You gotta face him off against your top babyface. And that, right now on SmackDown, is Roman Reigns. And I get it. WWE might be afraid of putting Reigns against Bray Wyatt with the fact that they might both be fan favorites. They might cancel each other out, and it may eventually result in fans booing Reigns yet again. But that should not be the case. That shouldn't happen. It didn't happen with Rock versus Austin. And I know I'm comparing two legends to Reigns and Wyatt. But still, it proves it can be done. Hopefully, they get to that. So, what do you think about Bray Wyatt's transformation? What are your initial thoughts of The Fiend once he was presented to us? And how do they compare to how you feel about Bray Wyatt, The Fiend, the Universal Champion, now? Leave your thoughts, comments, and predictions on the comment section below. And finally, well, seeing that today is Wednesday night, that means we get yet another edition, another battle in the Wednesday Night Wars. And we're going to start over on the All Elite side of things, the Dynamite Preview, because tonight it's the go-home show for the Full Gear 2019 pay-per-view to be held this Saturday night. Big things to talk about. We're going to talk about, and I'm going to give my predictions on Full Gear this coming Friday right here on ACB Wrestling Talk. But for now, let's preview tonight's show. Cody has been teasing that he has quite a big announcement on tonight's Dynamite show. You know, a big announcement can be anything. It could really be something as shocking as he's retiring or as he's leaving his executive role with the company to focus on professional wrestling. It could be that shocking, or it can be as predictable as he's just coming out and just stating and proving a point that he is going to beat Chris Jericho and become AEW World Champion. That's just what you get with these kinds of promos. That's what you get with these kind of announcements. We'll just have to wait and see what goes down with Cody once he steps into that ring on Dynamite. Not much to say other than Cody is pretty damn good on the mic. So you can expect a pretty entertaining promo. We've got a 6-man tag team action with Kenny Omega, Adam Hangman Page, and a mystery partner, I believe, versus AEW World Champion Le Champion Chris Jericho and Sammy Guevara, and a mystery partner. Again, you know, that's what I found online. That's the preview I found online. It was 6-man tag team action and only 4 men announced. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? And we've got Trent Beretta versus Pac. How do you say it? Depends on each superstar. You know, I'm going to be completely honest with you. Don't really have cable. So I can't tell you right now that I'm going to be tuning in to catch Dynamite on TNT. I can't. I don't have cable. So I'm going to be waiting until they upload YouTube clips and check them out through there. So other than that, will you be tuning in to watch Dynamite? And on the other side of things, NXT has yet another episode on the USA Network tonight. And it's pretty safe to say that I'm much more excited about NXT than I am about Dynamite, simply because what have we been talking about since Friday Night SmackDown's episode? What happened during Monday Night Raw's episode? A certain yellow and black NXT invasion. So what am I expecting from NXT tonight? I'm expecting both Raw and SmackDown superstars show up, prove a point, and kick some NXT ass. That's what I'm expecting. That's what most fans are expecting, and if they don't deliver, it might be a little bit disappointing, because then what's the point of having NXT invade the other brands if the brands aren't going to retaliate? We've also got Dakota Kai versus Shayna Baszler. And again, just with the fact that, you know, NXT has been invading Raw and SmackDown for the past episodes, every single match scheduled for tonight's episode of NXT has the potential to be interrupted by a WWE invasion. So Dakota Kai versus Shayna Baszler. I would normally go with Baszler beating Dakota Kai. Kai putting in a great performance. Not enough to beat the champ, but enough to prove a point. That's what I would normally predict. But again, it's all out of sync with this whole invasion possibly happening on NXT tonight. So with that said, will you be tuning into NXT? Will you be tuning into Dynamite? Will you be clicking back and forth during these Wednesday Night Wars? What have you thought about the Wednesday Night Wars so far? Are they as exciting as you were expecting, or have they pretty much disappointed you so far? Leave your thoughts, comments, and predictions in the comment section below. I've been Alexis Carrillo. That's it for me. Till next time.